Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Montreal Canadiens franchise mode. So in last episode, we had the draft and the re-sign stage. So we did let go of a couple players, including our two goaltenders, which were Carey Price and Peter Mrazek. Carey Price was in the AHL all last year because he dropped down to a 78, and then he dropped down to a 76 in the off-season part. So we decided to let him go because he's probably not going to sign with any other teams. So he's going to be a career-long Montreal Canadiens player, I think, unless somebody signs him for the AHL, which I don't see happening, but it could happen. So anyways, at the draft in last episode, we had a really good draft. Like, I think it might have been one of the best drafts I've ever had in a GM mode. So I'll show you guys all of our picks from that draft. So some of them are actually already in the NHL teams. So as you can see, this guy here, Mr. Carson Cunning, we drafted this guy at like 26th overall, and he's a 79, which is pretty crazy for an 18-year-old's top four. So hopefully this guy grows to being maybe a high top four because he's got a really good overall already. We also have, what is it, in the system, we got this Kurt Heatley guy at like number 9, I think it was. Yeah, number 9. So he's also looking pretty good, 77 at 18. So he's going to get to play in the AHL with Olli Rinne this year. And then I think, yeah, we also drafted this Haken guy in the second round, so we get another top 4 defenseman. We got a couple top 6 forwards, which are Mr. Connor Collins, 63 at 18. And then we also got, who was it? I think it was, yeah, Darcy Gill, another top 6 forward prospect. So we have a lot of really good prospects just from that draft. Another goalie prospect actually as well, including this guy Laurent Perreault. As you can see, he's a high starter. We got him as well. So we had like, I'd say maybe, yeah, we had like 7 good picks, which means we probably had good picks in every single round. We did have multiple picks in multiple rounds though. So anyways, it was a really good draft, and yeah, now we're up here in free agency, looking to maybe add a couple pieces. I'm not going to add too much pieces to the lineup because I want to kind of play the young guys, kind of do what Ottawa's doing in real life, and let the young guys play, and then maybe it'll grow into something good. Okay, so the 3 players we are going to be signing are going to be, one's going to be a goaltender because we don't have 4 goalies currently. We need a backup or a starting goaltender. Then we also need a depth defenseman and a depth forward just for our team, and then I think our lineup should be set. So we're going to sign for goaltenders. We are going to be signing Tyler Parsons. So Tyler Parsons was a guy I actually could have traded for a couple years back. When he was with Calgary, but I decided to take a pick instead. But Tyler Parsons has grown to an 82, and he doesn't really want a whole lot of money either. And I think he simulates okay. Yeah, he simulated good as a backup last year. I don't know if he's going to simulate good as a starter, but we're going to sign him for a 1-year deal. And if Sepanen, who is an 80 overall now, if he grows past Parsons, then Sepanen could be the starter, or maybe Parsons will be the starter for us this year. I don't know. So we'll give him a 1-year deal. And then we're also going to be signing a depth defenseman, and there was a depth defenseman that had some good defensive awareness, so that's mostly why I'm signing this guy instead of anybody else. Let's just go by alphabetical order, even though it's going to take a bit to get there. It's Jacob Galvis. I think he's a former Washington Capitals prospect. I could be wrong with that. I'm guessing off the top of my head, but he's got apparently like 85 or 86 defensive awareness, so I think he might be a pretty good fit for us. Not sure if he matches our system and all that, but I don't think it really matters at this point, just because he might not even get to play this year, depending if there's any injuries to the D-man or not. So there he is, Jacob Galvis, depth defenseman. As you can see, here is his stats so far. He's only played in the AHL, but he's been pretty good in the AHL. But his defensive awareness is an 85, so I think this guy could be a decent depth defenseman for us. So we'll sign him for I could give him a 2-year, two-way contract, but I don't know if I want to. So I'll give him a 1-year, one-way, bump this up to 850. He must have been a Chicago prospect. Yeah, he was a Chicago. I thought Washington for some reason. I don't know why. And then we also got to sign our depth forward, which this one is going to be Santeri Virtanen, who's a former prospect of the Winnipeg Jets. He's also, I think he's a decent overall, if I remember right. Yeah, he's a 79 depth forward, and he's only 27. He's also got some good defensive stats, somewhat solid offensive. So I'm going to sign him for a 1-year deal as well. Some cheap options, but hopefully they contribute if they get put into the lineup. So there you go. And we're going to have a lot of cap space still available, which is good because I want to have a decent amount of cap space going into next offseason, just because Kotkaniemi is going to be, I think, a UFA. So let's advance a few days, see if we get those guys. Hopefully we do. And I don't think we're going to be making any trades this offseason, so we're going to be simulating up until, yeah, we're probably going to be simulating some of the season, like up to, I'd say, maybe halfway through the season if we can. I'd like to get as much done as possible, and I'm pre-recording a bunch of episodes. So Parsons is signed with us, Galvis is accepted, and Virtanen, nice. So let's into next season and take a look at our lineup. Okay, guys, so our lineup looks pretty good, actually. So we got Lafreniere, Kotkaniemi, and Caulfield. Second line, Aube-Kubel with Frost and Pelletier. And then third line, Yolonen, Suzuki, Gellner. Fourth line, we got a youngster in Davis Paxbu, who's made the NHL finally. He was a third-round pick back in 2023. And we also have JFK and Ryan Poehling. So a pretty balanced squad. It's not the strongest roster, but I mean it's still pretty serviceable. And then defensively, we are kind of weak because we have like two youngsters in our lineup, but we're still, I think, somewhat solid for a rebuilding team. So we got Shea and Montour, who both could be guys that we trade at the trade deadline, depending on how we simulate. And we also have Cunning, who's making his NHL debut with Lambeau, so the two Carsons playing together. And then on the top six, we have Josh Mahura, and Brendan Zimmerman has made it to the NHL. He was in the AHL, but I called him up because he's listed as a top 6 D-man, so I want to give him that ice time. And then in terms of goalies, Sepanen is an 82 now, so him and Parsons are going to probably be sharing ice time this year. And then we have Galvis and Virtanen as depth. In terms of the AHL, it's kind of an interesting roster, so it looks really good on forwards, like everybody's in the 70s mostly. We do have some good prospects like Strome, who we acquired from the St. Louis deal that we made last year. We also have Miles Bell, who's probably not going to grow much more. Hillman is probably going to be one of those guys that makes it to the lineup as a low top 9, which is pretty awesome. And then we also have Nick Grin, who's pretty much listed as a depth forward, so he will be in the NHL next season. And we also got Bruce Swift, so we have a lot of good prospects down there. And then defensively, we got Kurt Heatley and Olli Rinne playing together. Salmo Linen's going to play down there again, even though he is listed as a defenseman. I might have him in the NHL next year on the top 6, but this year we just couldn't find a way to fit him in. And Heatley might be making the NHL next season too, so I don't know what we're going to have to do on the defensive core. And then goalie-wise, McEachern and Zubov. Okay, so let's get started with this season simulation, see how these young guys, Cunning and Zimmerman and Paxbu, simulate. I'm expecting them to simulate pretty decently, but who knows. We are listed as hopeful, which is actually pretty good considering I thought we would be a rebuilder, but I guess our forward core is good enough to give us a hopeful stage. So let's see how we simulate. Let's get this preseason done, and then we'll start up the actual season simulation. We'll probably, like I said, maybe let's go to January 1st in this episode, I think. But next episode will probably be pre-recorded as well, just because I'm pre-recording stuff for the holidays. Speaking of which, happy holidays to all you guys. So, 7-1 win over Ottawa in the preseason, nice. Preseason doesn't really matter that much, but I guess the guys have to just find their chemistry a bit, because some of them haven't played in the NHL yet, so Brandon Montour was never injured, and last game of the preseason is a loss as well. So we really struggled in the preseason. Hopefully that's better in the regular season. But then again, like I said, we're kind of in a rebuilding state, so I kind of want to tank in a way for first overall. We do also have the Blues first round pick this year, so hopefully they fall apart so we could get maybe like 2 lottery picks. That'd be pretty nice. So first game of the season we have is on the road in Tampa Bay. Then we have one in Toronto and one in New York. What is our owner goals? Actually, I didn't check that out of curiosity. Probably I'll just say like we're listed as a rebuilder now. Okay. So our owner goals. You want us to acquire a first round pick for the upcoming draft. Well, I mean, we probably could actually do that if we are doing really bad. Brady Shea's going to definitely fetch a first. I don't know about Brandon Montour, but I think we could definitely get a first if we want to. So, let's get this month done. So, we'll go all the way up to the first against Boston. Hopefully, the AHL team assimilates pretty well. I know the defense is kind of a mess because we have forwards playing defense, but what it is. I don't have enough defensive prospects to put down there because most of the guys are in other leagues still like a 64s and whatnot, and I like to sign 70 overall plus guys usually. So we're 2-3 so far. We were 0-3, but we've won back to back, and we also beat Florida, so now we're 3-3. Interesting. So this team starts off bad, but now they've won 4 in a row, and there's a shootout loss, so at least it's a point. Negrin's been injured in the minors, which is not good because he's one of our best players down there, so we'll replace player for now. There's a loss against Edmonton. And Morgan Frost has been injured in the NHL with an injured knee. So we'll just go replace player. That's going to put in for Tannen. Game against Boston is a win as well. And Bruce Swift has now suffered a concussion. Let's go replace player. Okay, so 5-4-2 in our first month. A bit better than I expected us to assimilate. But let's take a look at who's leading us in points currently, and it's Lafreniere, not a surprise. 11 points in 11 games. If we make the playoffs, he'd be the reason, I think. Him and Kakaniemi in the first line in general. Okay, so do I want to check how good those young guys are doing so far? Yeah, maybe I do. Even though I don't normally check this early into the season. Just curious on how they've been simulating. So Cunning's got 2 assists and he's a +2. So I mean that's not a bad start for a guy that's only 18. He's got 12 shots on goal, so this guy might shoot a decent amount, which is good. And then Zimmerman, how have you been? 7 penalty minutes, no points, and a -1. So I mean these guys are playing somewhat solid defense, but we are still going to be probably losing a bunch of games soon. So our defense is just not putting up a lot of points at all, really, to start the season. How's goaltending been? So Parsons has been really well playing, so maybe that was a good signing. Yeah, he's currently 4-3-2 with a really good save percentage and goals against. And then Sapanen dropped down to an 81. Yeah, he's been somewhat solid as well. They've been better than Mrazek was when we had Mrazek, because Mrazek was kind of awful to an extent. Like, he had a season like last year where he had like 3.34 goals against or something, and only 20 wins in like 60 games played. So I'm not complaining. Let's go another month up to December the 1st, see if we could string together some more wins. That would be very nice if we could, in a way. But at the same time, like I said, I kind of want this team to be rebuilding, not doing so well. So Negrin actually was put into the lineup for an injury replacement, so we got to take him out, apparently. So we'll put Olofsson in just for that, and then we'll put in Negrin back into his normal spot, because I don't want him playing on the right side. So there you go. So we won back-to-back games to start this month. Morgan Frost is back for the NHL team, which means Virtanen is out. Let's take a look at Virtanen. He's been not bad with us so far. So Frost, there you go. Hopefully this team could start falling apart a bit. Yeah, there you go. 2 losses in a row. because I don't really want to make the playoffs to an extent, but at least I want this team to kind of do somewhat decent, but at the same time I want a really good pick. So Brady Shea's been injured, which is not a good sign because that's going to make her defense a lot weaker. So Galvis will be into the lineup, and Bruce Swift is back. This is so much injuries, it's kind of ridiculous. So Bruce Swift back into the lineup right here. But yeah, hopefully that AHL team maybe makes the playoffs. I don't know if they will with forwards playing defense, but you never know. Because those guys aren't that good defensively either. Like my Zach's more of an offensive guy. So Gunler's now been injured. Jeez. I feel like everybody on our team has been injured at least once so far already, but it hasn't been the case. So now we're kind of dropping some games, which is good, but we're still staying around 500. Okay, so who was it that was back? I think it was... Yeah, I think it was Gunler. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Gunler's not growing to being anything really huge, but then again, the guy was a second rounder, so I'm not expecting him to become an elite player or anything. So I think he had top 6'4" potential, but he's not going to get that. So there's 3 straight wins all of a sudden. Interesting. Yeah, this team is really kind of an odd team. We're hopeful, and the primary goal is for us to make round 1 in the playoffs. Interesting goal there, owner. I don't think we're going to make the playoffs. So Brady Shea is back, which is great because we kind of need him on that defensive core, or else that defense just falls apart. Because Galvis, 2 goals, actually, that's not bad. He was decently offensive, but not good defensively. There you go. Cunningham has... Holy crap, Cunningham all of a sudden came alive in the last little while. This guy is looking really good. 10 points in 25 games. And he's a plus 12 as a defenseman at 18 years old. Damn. And Zimmerman's got 3 points, minus 4. So, I mean, this pairing of the 2 Carsons, yeah, it seems really good. They're both really good defensively, apparently. So maybe we keep the Carsons together for quite a long time. So there's 2 more wins. I don't know how this team's winning games, but we're 14-10-2, and we're currently 2nd place in our division. Who's leading us in points now? And still Lafreniere, 24 points in 26 games. So I'm guessing, that Cunning and Lambos must be on the power play, and maybe that's helping them out. Because I don't know why they would be so good. Fan happiness, 87 rating, and locker room chemistry is at 76. Not bad. Okay, let's go another month, and then we'll take a look at what's on the trading block. Even though I think next episode's probably going to be pre-recorded, so I'll be making trades and stuff on my own. But I still want to take a look at, maybe the draft class already at the end of this episode. Take a look at the player stats. Because this team has been kind of interesting. We're winning games when I didn't think we would win games. It could be because Lafreniere in the top line, but... Also, I guess maybe the brush of fresh air on the defense, because the defense has been mostly free agent signings for a while. And as I say this, Kotkaniemi has been injured till December the 19th. Damn, that one's a bad one. But yeah, I think it's maybe the defense is just a breath of fresh air, because literally we've been signing a lot of defensemen in free agency that haven't really worked out here, except for Shea and Montour, but... Since then, we've been really good picking up these young guys in the draft and whatnot. So Brady Shea's been injured with a mild concussion, or just a concussion in general, till the end of January. Well, that should hurt us definitely in our chances of making the playoffs. At least in my opinion. So, who do we want to take out? So, I'm going to keep all the defense still the exact same. So Kotkaniemi's got to get put back in the lineup. Why is Paxpoo up there though? I thought Paxpoo was still in the lineup. I think the computer must have took Paxpoo out somehow. Or maybe not. So Paxpoo, I think we had him right there. Oh, that's why I replaced Gunler in the wrong spot, I think. Yeah, I must have done that. So Paxpoo back into the lineup. There you go. Game against Columbus is another win. Damn, maybe it's just our goaltending that's doing it. Because Tyler Person seems to assimilate really well. And then Sapanen as well. Geez, we're having games where we're just only allowing 1 goal with the way our defense is. And the Ottawa Senators have fired their head coach, Cam Stoner, apparently. And last game of the month, and we're 23-13-4. How? I did not expect this to be this good, and I know some of you guys probably didn't expect that either. But we're just killing it defensively, it seems like, right now. Halfway through the season. We got to keep it up the next half if we actually want to make it. So let's take a look at player stats so far for the season. We're also going to take a look at the draft class, progress report so far for the season, and then it'll be it for this episode. So let's take a look at the standings quickly. Entire league-wise, we are currently sitting in number 5, tied for number 4 technically. What has been our bread and butter? So we're scoring actually a decent amount of goals, not as much as every other team. Actually, we're struggling for offense. Yeah, we're not doing the greatest offensively, 3.08, but our goals against is currently 4th in the league. So we're playing really good defensively. Our power play is struggling, and our penalty kill looks like it's doing solid. How much shorthanded goals do we have this year? We have the third most on this in this entire league. We're really good on home ice, but we're kind of struggling on the road. Okay, let's take a look at player stats quickly for the season so far after 40 games. So, yeah, we're not getting offensive done, but we're playing good defensively. Like, JFK all of a sudden out of nowhere has got 24 points and 18 goals. So, damn, he's been a really good shorthanded player for us. Huh. And then everybody else still playing pretty solid defensively, which is good. Some of the guys are minus. And then Carson Cunning's got 13 points in 40 games, plus 16. This guy's looking really good. Only 2 penalty minutes as well as a defenseman. I'm really expecting this guy to be probably growing into like more of a high top 4 than a top 4. Paxbu's got 10 points just on the 4th line in 29 games. Nice. He might be on the penalty kill as well. And then Zimmerman's got 4 points only, and he's a -8. So, I mean, our young guys are getting it done, which is pretty good. Goaltending-wise, Persons has been really good. And then Sapanen's been a pretty solid backup still. Yeah, Persons has been was a way better signing than I expected. Okay, so let's take a look quickly at the AHL as well. Nigrin's got 17 points in 29 games. Swift, 12 points. Rene's got 11. He's at 73. And then Heatley has 10 points. Not bad. Getting his time to finally play down there in the AHL. 10 points. Not bad. Goalie-wise, even though the goalies don't matter that much, they've been pretty solid as well. So they're probably below 500 because of McEachern's losing, but they've been actually pretty solid for goals against and whatnot. Okay, let's quickly take a look at the progress reports, and then that'll be it for this episode, I think. Actually, the draft class as well. And then, yeah, next episode I'm probably going to be recording right after this, if I have time. So, progress reports. So, let's see, anybody growing in the system? So Perot, that high starter, is growing a lot, 53 overall now. Haken's growing great. Ryder, our elite goalie prospects, up to a 75, playing in the WHL in Saskatoon. Off to a pretty good start, not as good as prior years, but still. He's going to be probably an NHL starter by next year, or an NHL backup by next year, so Parsons is probably gone after this year. And then we also have Gill, who's growing. And who was the other guy that was a top 6 prospect? I don't even know. Salmelainen's not growing anymore, so that's probably as high as he gets. So anyways, guys, I think... Yeah, I'm not going to show you the draft class actually yet because I want to just get to next episode already. So I'm going to do that, and I'll probably show you the draft class at the end of that episode if we miss the playoffs and whatnot. So anyways, let me know what you guys think about our team so far. Why are we simulating so well? Like, it just seems so strange. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.